You know what I could do to make this slightly easier? Oh, that's as low as it goes. All right, we got there. That's great. Okay. Hello everyone, welcome back to Ink and Fig. My name is Alex, and today we are going to be doing my July TBR. I just realized as I sat down to edit this that I forgot to do an intro, so here is my intro. I am wearing something different than I am wearing in the rest of the video, but that is fine. We have a really interesting TBR coming up. There's going to be some cheating in the game I only just introduced to you, which is going to be great. I'm going to further explain some rules, and I'm going to show you a quick little setup of my Lunar TBR spread in case you would like to see a little bit more in depth on that. Yeah, so I just wanted to pop in and welcome you to the video. Please enjoy my July TBR. So I just wanted to give you a little bit more insight into how I create my Lunar TBR spreads, because the whole system I basically came up with as a bit of an offshoot of Trivial Pursuit. I knew that I wanted to do something with moons when I was building this. So a circular game sounded like the best option, and Trivial Pursuit is one of my favorite games of all time. So to get started, I just take my stencil. I have chosen this mason jar ring as sort of my go-to stencil for the outer circle. So that is what I start with. And then I have a particular roll of washi tape here. It just has the smallest gauge here that I can get out of my collection. And what I do is I just offset them slightly. So rather than having the line go straight through the middle of this circle in the washi tape, I offset it so that I have more space all the way around for the days in between. So I'm just gonna do one of these. I'm gonna do one of those at each of the cardinal directions. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It sort of looks nice at the end one way or another. And then halfway between each of these, we're gonna do another one. And those are gonna be our waxing and waning moons. So now I say it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't, but you can see that I have sort of a little bit of spacing problems around here, and that's just me. So now we have this down. I'm gonna take my color for the month. This month I am using a pale yellow. I've just erased the lines here just so that it doesn't ghost through once I have this colored in. And I'm just gonna fill in each of the moons. Okay, so once I have each of my moons colored in, I'm gonna actually switch to the other side of my tombow, and I'm going to draw 3 little dots in between each moon. This represents the 3 days that it takes to get from one moon phase to the next. And it also adds more spots on my play board. All right, there we go. I'm gonna take a quick break and just get this erased, and then I will come back. All right, so now I have all my pencil lines erased, and what I'm going to do is pull out my last Lunar TBR, which is this one, and this actually is not up to date because I finished If I Had Your Face. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fill that in on this one really quick. And again, this sort of isn't perfect. And I don't really want it to be perfect because it looks more like mine this way. So there we go. So now I'm gonna transfer over these 4 moons that I've already earned into my new TBR list here. All right, so those are all of my moons. So now I'm going to draw out the lines here, sort of very loosely, for my 4 reads for the month. I usually aim for 4, but the beauty of this game is that you can aim for as many as you want to. You can do a single book a month if you want to. You can do 15 books a month if you want to. That I think is the beauty of this game. I think that you will definitely have a faster play the more books that you read, but you can definitely tailor it to whatever your needs are. And if your needs change monthly, it also really lends itself to that. So you can do 1 book one month, 6 books the next month, and so on and so forth. I usually do 4. Even on months where I'm participating in like a readathon where I might need to do upwards of 8 books, as I will be doing next month in August. But I will still be doing 4 of these prompts so that I don't have to find 8 books that exactly match 2 lists of prompts, because that's going to be awful. So then I can just make it pretty. Then what I normally do is I just number these. That is how we do the Lunar TBR. So without further ado, let's roll my Lunar TBR. We're using the Ad Orbita Tarot deck. This deck is absolutely stunning. Just off the bottom here, we have the 8 of Pentacles. Like, look at this. So basically the concept behind this deck is that it combines the typical floral motifs that you see from Layla and Olive with space motifs, which, like, as a Star Trek fan, we love space. Here is the High Priestess, which I think is an absolute banger of a card. Look at that. Absolutely incredible. So like with Trivial Pursuit, you can go whichever way you want. So we're going to go in a direction based on this first roll, 6. All right. I usually like counting with my pen just because my fingers are a little bit big to see these tiny dots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's gonna take me way too far away. So I'm gonna do our first roll up here. I apologize for the lighting. The sun is doing interesting things and we have clouds today. So I have got all of my cards assembled. We have a card. So I did not mean for this to happen, but I think the card may have been flattered. It is the High Priestess. So that is what we're going with for our first pick, the High Priestess. Read a book with a spiritual element. I love that. All right, so after much deliberation, we have figured this out. So for the High Priestess, which asks me to read a book with a spiritual element, I have chosen Michael Chabon's The Yiddish Policeman's Union. I'm assuming by the title that there's going to be an element of Judaism in this book, because it is about Jewish folks who settled in Alaska and are facing sort of a disbanding of their community by the government, of course. I don't know what to expect from this. You will have seen this in my haul video from Lethbridge. I picked this up at a used bookstore there. I have absolutely no idea what to expect from this. I've never read Michael Chabon before. I have not heard a whole lot about him. I have heard of this book before. That's about all I can say. And all of that I know is just from the dust jacket. So this is what we're going with for book number 1. Roll number 2 is 3. Oh my goodness. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. We're getting a moon. This is so exciting. For read number 2, I'm sort of trying to shuffle this in such a way that you can see it, but also so that I don't throw half the deck on the ground. Card number 2, we have got the 5 of Wands. Oh, we actually just had this one last month, I think. Read a book with a predominantly female cast. 5 of Wands asks me to read a book with a predominantly female cast, and for that, we're going to be cheating a little bit this month, and that is okay. I'm going to be reading The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. Started this book last year. Could not get into it. I am admittedly halfway through. It was not vibing with me. But I hate leaving a book unfinished, so I'm going to allow myself to pick up from the halfway point, which is our cheating point here. I think the reason that this book was not vibing with me before is just that it's all about, like, you know, men are garbage, which, like, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue that, but when I turn to books, I kind of like hearing about the good ones, because, like, I know that good ones exist because I'm marrying one, but I don't necessarily like reading about men being trash. Unless I'm like specifically there for it, like in like Game of Thrones or something like that. But like, typically speaking, not my vibe, as I'm finding out. So it's just a little too real for me. But we're going to continue on with this and see what happens. Okay, roll number 3 is 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I go this way, I can also possibly get that moon. So that's what I'm gonna do. 2, 3. All right, here we go. Card number 3. I love how I like tried singing that and then did not follow through. Like, okay, nope, I'm gonna cut the deck and we're gonna go with whatever is on the bottom. She's upside down. This is the 4 of Wands. Oh, okay, interesting. 4 of Wands. Read a book with sapphic representation. Hello. Yes. All right, book number 3, 4 of Wands. Read a book with sapphic representation. I'm going to cheat again. Because of course I am. I also last year started and did not finish The Once and Future Witches. The reason this one's not vibing with me, which I hate that it's not vibing with me because it's such a beautifully written book. The reason it is not vibing with me is because it relies 120% on the miscommunication trope. And I hate that more than anything else in this world. Like, when I read the miscommunication trope, I get very mad. So this book has made me angry several times over simply because the sisters do not talk to each other. However, we've got witches, we've got librarians, we've got several sapphic characters going on in here. The writing is gorgeous, the atmosphere is gorgeous, the concept for the story is really good. I just absolutely cannot stand the miscommunication trope. So I'm slightly over halfway. This is my bookmark right here. I'm slightly over halfway, and I would really like to finish this. So I'm going to read The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow for my sapphic representation book. And lastly, roll number 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Either way, I'm going to end up with sort of 3 isolated moons here. So I think I'm going to party back over this way. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to finish there, because then I'm very close to this moon, and I'm also very close to this moon, and with a couple of high rolls, I can get over here as well next month. All right, and here we go, our last card, roll number 4. All right, that is good, whatever's on the top. Boom. What do we got? Oh, is that the Fool? Oh, the Fool. Check that out. Yes! Ah, the Fool is reading an audiobook. Thank you. I have been having so much trouble focusing on reading lately, and all I want to do is crochet, which means an audiobook is absolutely perfect. But I'm going to have to pop on Libby and see what they've got, because your girl can't afford audiobooks. We borrow them from the library. I cannot obviously show this on screen because it is an audiobook, and I've just borrowed it from the library. It is in my library now. Oh, that's upside down. For the Fool, first card in the deck, the Fool, read an audiobook. The audiobook that I'm going to be reading is going to be V.E. Schwab's A Darker Shade of Magic. I'm going to piss off a lot of people with what I'm about to say. I did not like Addie LaRue. I'm sorry. Like, I say that with a laugh, even though there's no one else in this room with me, because I am sure that is going to get me some hate, because it was a beloved book. It was one of the ones in 2020 that everyone was just losing their minds over, and that it was so good, and it made them cry at the end, and, you know, this, that, and the other thing, and I'm like, But why though? Like, it was only okay. I think I gave it just a 4-star, like just barely, because frankly, it was a compelling read. I did enjoy picking it up and like going through it, but I did not think it was a work of art. Didn't think it was that good, but I have heard that Addie LaRue is different from everything else that V.E. Schwab has ever done, that was sort of a big departure for her, and I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe I'll vibe with her other writing, and A Darker Shade of Magic happened to be in stock in audiobook at my library, so I have borrowed it. We are going to read it. It was, I want to say 17 hours. I forget. I think it was 17 hours. I will correct myself on a vlog going forward if I am wrong. And we're gonna see how that goes. I am excited about that. So, in conclusion, the books I am reading this month are these ones, plus A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. We are reading Michael Chabon's The Yiddish Policeman's Union, The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner, The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow, and A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is always a bit of a journey putting these TBR videos together because there's just so much to talk about. But I am really excited for this TBR. I cannot wait to get these 2 books off of my currently reading shelf because honestly, they are haunting me in a very real way. I cannot get away from the fact that I haven't completed them, and they keep me up at night. So I want to finish them, get them out of my life, and move on, honestly, because it has been a long haul. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. You can follow me on all of my socials at Ink and Fig. Please like this video, comment a heart emoji, because we are halfway through the year and we love that journey for us. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we are getting out more and more amazing stuff every day, and there will be some more fabulous videos that you may or may not have seen at the end of this video, so please check those out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!